Well, thank you, Susan, for the introduction, and I want to thank both Susan and Matt for inviting me back. I gave this course first in the January-February timeframe, and it was a very new experience for me to do this, but it's something I've been thinking about a long time. And the reason is I grew up going to high school and college and medical school during the Vietnam War, which made me somewhat military averse. But by the time I finished my surgery training, I decided, having been to VA hospitals and actually taking care of my peers, that I could put on a uniform and provide health care to those who decided to serve their country, whether the cause was to be determined as right or wrong going forward. And of course, having trained as a surgeon and done a fellowship and be kind of a university level professor kind of surgeon, I expected I would do that in the Navy when I found out they were very short of general surgeons. But when you sign up and put on the uniform, sometimes you find out they have other plans for you. And I wound up being sent to learn a lot of other skills. And those skills included everything from being exposed to diving medicine to becoming a river and coastal warfare officer who could actually command fighting kind of troops. I did aviation medicine. Was exposed to planning and medical intelligence, and then ultimately strategy and policy. By the time I retired from my planned 2 years in the Navy, I actually served 30 years in uniform if you count all my reserve time, and was very, very involved in those last 10 years or so all around the world. It exposed me to a world I didn't know really existed and I didn't understand before. And now I want to take my two careers, which have sort of been intertwined for many years, and I want to present what I've learned to you who are in the audience and invite your questions. And the basic premise that as I kind of started writing this, it evolved. And I started with America being the supreme world power at the end of World War II. I mean, really everything was American. The economy was American, the military was American, culture was American. Even the rules for aviation internationally were speaking English, and it was American rules. So, we had this amazing legacy from the greatest generation that was left to us at the end of World War II. And then I would like to trace what happens to that, first giving some didactic information on how the military works, because it's very complex, and where it fits into foreign policy and administrations. And then I want to go and do some case studies of some of the conflicts we've been in: Korea, Vietnam, areas of the Middle East and Southwest Asia, and then try and bring it to today if I can keep up with the news cycle. I wasn't planning on having to discuss the role of the military in quelling domestic demonstrations, but I think when I get to the last section to talk about the draft and national service, I think we need to talk about where the military fits into our society today. So I will do my best to keep up with the news cycle, but I want to cover a lot of stuff in that 8 weeks, and I will stay around to answer questions and be available by email to answer questions and give you kind of my opinions on how the US pretty much frittered away the legacy that was left to us by the greatest generation, and we're now stuck kind of being irrelevant in most of the world. Thank you.